Today I'm going to take you through my creative process from start to finish on how I build a fashion collection. I just released my fall 24 collection on Vogue and on our social medias, which if you're not following us, that's your problem. You should probably fix that. But anyways, this is kind of my process. For those who don't know me, my name is Spencer Phipps. I founded PHIPPS, which is a modern American heritage brand, and we've worked with best retailers, worn my celebrities. I'm a finalist in this year's CFD Group Fashion Fund. I've done the LVMH prize. I've also worked for other designers and have done the same process for major brands like Marc Jacobs and Dries Van Noten. And the process never really changes for me. Everybody has a different way of working, or everybody has a whole different, process, but this is mine. The first thing that you need to do when you're starting basically any project is look at it on a macro level and really understand the purpose of the project. What are you making and who is it for and what is it? So if it's a fashion project, it's going to be very different if it's for Ralph Lauren than it would be for Nike, for example. PHIPPS is, like I said, it's a modern American heritage brand. We're really inspired by the great American outdoors and that wild pioneer spirit that really makes American style so unique. So for me, I always like to start with a bit of a place. Imagine like a log cabin on a serene lake up in the mountains. It's a beautiful snowy evening. The fireplace is going. You've been out chopping wood all day and you come home. What's going to be in your house? Who are these characters? How do you build this universe and tell that story?
The next step for me is really research, which involves kind of an ongoing process. I'm always adding images and films and reference points and, the people I meet, my daily life. Everything kind of all comes together to form this bank of ideas or touch points, which from there, I'm able to kind of pull what I need out for any particular season. So if I'm thinking of my middle school math teacher or a movie I saw last week or a book that I bought or, just a bunch of images on the internet. I'm constantly saving things on Instagram or wherever our social media platform, whatever I find on the internet. I'm like doing screenshots. I'm probably stalking you. And I don't even necessarily have a purpose as I'm doing them until down the road. So, what you see behind me are essentially images that I've pulled that reference this particular collection. So if we're talking about a cabin in the woods in the wintertime and all those sorts of characters that inhabit that universe, you can see we've got tons of images of cabins and the people that are sort of in those environments of outdoor people and hunters and pioneers and lumberjacks and, strange pieces of furniture and just habitats that people have had. And all of that really just kind of gives a very real sense of time and place and kind of a concrete thing, as well as colors and fabrics and certain shapes and garments like that, which then are able to lead me to the next step.
So yeah, once you have the vibe set and you really understand the inspiration and the sort of universe that you're trying to occupy, that's where the organization comes in. And it's a little bit more dry and not quite as creative. It's very logistics oriented. And I make these big fabric boards and I organize things according to our product. And I put them all on these boards. You have your fabric, you have your kind of little notes on there, and it just helps me keep things organized. And then I sit down to sketch and make these little tech packs, send them off to factories. And once I've got all of that in work, it's just a matter of getting people to make shit, which is actually, I would argue, the hardest thing of the entire thing. One of the things that comes up during the design process is how do you make your inspiration your own? So it's not just like copying things or looking at stuff. It's how do you make it feel, fits. So we look at some of our best-selling items. We have our hard work pants, which I'm wearing right now. Maybe use that language maybe to create something that bridges a gap that tells that story. So for example, making a pocket tee that has the similar details, or a hoodie that has similar details, or a nice chino that, follows in that kind of universe. You can also use the inspiration, for example, of log cabin stuff to make pieces that feel a bit more special and are kind of more seasonal, like this nice knitwear that kind of looks like a toilet seat cover in a log cabin that your grandma might have, or a print inspired by weird tapestries that are, I don't know where you even find those things, but they're always somehow in every cabin that I've ever stayed in. But the important thing is really to keep that consistent brand vision and build up products that, when they're all together, feels like a cohesive vision. If you look at really successful designers, they're able to mutate their language to be a million different things. So it's, important to keep your consistency and keep working in your little lane that you kind of make for yourself. But once you have the samples done, you're able to get to kind of the fun bit, which is, in this case, the lookbook shoot. This season, we did a lookbook that was shot, styled, and starring me. Okay, you guys, we are in the middle of fittings, trying to figure out these looks for the lookbook shoot. Just trying everything on and making sure that these kind of characters come to life, which is always a really fun part for me.
Just wanted to be a little bit more grandpa-y, or that's a word, right?
As you can see, I'm wearing a ton of different outfits. And the idea here is very much inspired by, Richard Avedon's Into the American West series, which I love as kind of these character studies. Or Cindy Sherman, who's an artist who did this very, very famous series of film stills where she kind of just dressed up and was like a character.
Some kind of, just want to hold it like a little walking stick.
Or even something that I'm always inspired by are those old Hollywood costume tests. You can see images of, James Dean, for example, standing there in his little outfit for, I literally can't remember the name of the movie, but you know what I'm talking about. But I always love these old Hollywood tests where it's exactly who they are by what they're wearing and maybe a very simple gesture or something like that. So, here we're trying to do the same thing. So we've got a whole host of characters, all of the people that I would imagine in that fantasy little log cabin town on the lake that I talked about earlier, in their most sort of tipsy little selves, obviously, which is me. So here we are. You've got the rich ranch owner, disco rodeo divorced dad, the dairy farmer. I don't know, he's a little abstract, but you get the idea. This guy I love. These two, my little senior citizen friends, they look like best friends eating their blue plate special at the diner at about 4:45 in the afternoon. A little late dinner for them. One of the ranchers, camper, the plumber. This guy got trucker vibes, kind of. This guy's a bit of a creep.
It definitely looked like a serial killer.
This guy is the
This guy's totally hitting on your mom.
drill sergeant. This little off-grid dude. Ski patrol, lumberjack, fisherman, explorer. So we kind of try and enhance things very simply by adding just a little bit of props. This guy's a creep, so why is he carrying around just a simple thing of Wonder Bread? We don't know. I don't know. Weird, though. This is very much a work in progress. So basically, I work through all of these looks until we find, everything that we want shot is done and everything that's set up is ready, and we're happy with all the looks, and then we're going to go ahead and shoot it all.
Now that the lookbook is shot, before I show it to you, I just want to tell you that I had a great time making it, and it's super fun. One of my favorite collections. There's so much nice stuff in there, great pieces. I really enjoyed styling it. Those characters are really funny, and I really enjoyed it. And if you liked the video, thought it was helpful, you should subscribe to the channel, and there'll be more coming soon. So, without further ado, here's the Fall 24 lookbook.